Good morning, good evening, good night. EagleMMA Family. These are my UFC 309 Eagre picks. Alright, so before we get into my UFC 309 predictions, we're on the road to 1K subs, guys. I think we have 70 subscribers left till I hit 1K. Big milestone, big videos coming out at 1K. Right, and also, we're on the road to 100 Tapology members. I think we have 76 Tapology members right now. And when we get to 100 Tapology members, I will be giving out 5 free gifted memberships to every single person who's in my Tapology, so make sure you join it. Link down in the description. But let's jump right into UFC 309, starting with the early prelim opener of Veronica Hardy versus Eduardo Mora. Who cares? It's a prelim women's fight. I picked Mora by decision because maybe she gets the underdog upset. I don't have a clue about either of them. Next up on the card, though, great fight. Oban Elliott versus Basil Hafez. Oban Elliott, this guy is a future champion. He is a savage. Oban Elliott is an assassin. I have Elliott by decision. I think Basil Hafez did not look good in his last fight against Mickey Gall. How are you not finishing someone like a glass chin Mickey Gall? That's kind of disgusting. But the next fight on the card, Mickey Gall versus Ramiz Brahimaj. I do have Gall by 3rd round submission. I think Ramiz Brahimaj is just so bad. I think he's just really so bad. And Mickey Gall he went to decision with Basil Hafez, who also went to decision with JDM. I know that's MMA math, but Basil Hafez is okay. You know, he's like a lower level, unranked fucking welterweight. So I do think Mickey Gall still has a little bit of juice left. And I think against someone like Ramiz Brahimaj, he's just done. So I have Gall by 3rd round submission. I think he's going to grit it out. I think he's going to get nearly not. He might honestly, listen, he might get 10-8'd in the first round. He might get knocked out in the first round. But if he does it, I think he's going to come back with a, third round submission comeback, right? But next up on the card, Marcin Tybura. I love heavyweight. I love heavyweight so much. Marcin Tybura, an assassin, right? Versus Jonta Deniz. If you guys didn't know, Jonta Deniz was actually supposed to fight Derek Lewis on, I think it was 2 UFC cards ago. It was a fight night, I believe. Don't remember which card because I think it sucked. I think it was Magny vs. Practice. Who knows? And who cares, right? We have it now. And I do have Tybura by decision, right? I think Jonta Deniz is just not proven himself yet. I hope Jonta Deniz gets the win because I want to see the heavyweight division start moving. I want to get these old heads that have been there since literally like 2010, like literally half the heavyweight division, right? Volkov, fucking Rosenstruik, Derek Lewis, there's like 3 other people up there that just have been there the entire time. Let's get some movement. I want to see Waldo Cortez Acosta. I want to see, fucking Muhammad Usman. I want to see all these big boys start getting their fucking praise. And I am going to pick Tybura by decision. I think it's a bad stylistic matchup for Deniz, especially he only has 2 weeks to train for someone like Tybura. It's a completely different fight than someone like Derek Lewis. But, who cares? It's a prelim heavyweight fight, right? So let's move on to the next fight on the card. Roberto Romero versus David Onama. I do have Onama first round KO. I know that's such a fucking casual NPC take, but Roberto Romero, what the fuck has he done, right? Isn't he's a short notice, very short notice. He loses to anyone good, and if you look at his record, 2 years and 1 month ago, he's losing to an 0-1 fighter. I just really don't think he has anything for Onama. Onama's at least decent enough to get, like, a very close decision loss against, like, someone like Nate Landwehr, and I think he just has the UFC vet mentality where he's just going to grit down and bite down on that mouthpiece. And I don't think Roberto Romero is going to be able to do that just yet. But next up on the card, great fight. Love this matchmaking from the UFC. Jim Miller is taking on Damon Jackson at lightweight. We're seeing a move up from Damon Jackson. He used to fight at featherweight. He's now fighting at lightweight. I have Jackson by a decision. Guys, I do have Damon Jackson by decision. Jim Miller and Bobby Green looked really bad when they fought each other. I think Jim Miller's on his last leg. His best wins recently are people like Jesse Butler and some other Nicholas Mota, I think. Jim Miller hasn't beaten anybody decent recently. I think he lost to Alexander Hernandez. I don't remember, but even that is not a great win. I think Damon Jackson is better than Alexander Hernandez, especially at lightweight. He's a pretty big guy, Damon Jackson. He's not the biggest guy ever, but I think he's probably bigger than Jim Miller. And I think that weird, goofy-ass style, is just going to cause problems for Jim Miller and mixing in the grappling, right? Jim Miller's old. I think he's like 40 or something. Those hips are the first thing to go, and that's your main takedown defense is all in your hips. But let's get on to the next fight on the card. Love this matchmaking. I think I just love to watch Chris Weidman fight, post UFC championship, right? Chris Weidman is one of the most entertaining fighters post UFC championship, right? Getting just flatlined by Jacare, like, and just the funniest fucking, he's still trying to go for a takedown. He's trying to go for like a low single at Jacare Souza. I poke DKOing, Bruno Silva like an alpha male. He just said, fuck you, you're a bitch. Basically, he called fucking Bruno Silva a bitch for quitting to eye pokes. It's like, he's such a fucking alpha. And I do think he's going to eye poke the shit out of Eric Anders. I think he's going to get some back of the head strikes in there. Hopefully, I do want to see him get a grounded knee or something in there. Maybe a kick to the balls would actually be pretty effective against someone like Eric Anders. We've seen his leg kick defense. But I do have Weidman by third round TKO. I know Eric Anders is a pretty tough guy, but his nickname is Ya Boy. His nickname is, it's Eric Ya Boy Anders. Listen, I'm irrationally just picking a finish because I want him to get finished. It's most likely going to be a decision from Weidman, but I'm just picking Weidman by third round KO because I just feel like this rage inside of me. I've made a deal with Orcus, right? Everyone knows about that. Don't look up Orcus. It's not important. But I think just something is, gut feeling inside of me. But let's go to the next fight on the card. Again, fantastic matchmaking, and this is the prelim headliner as well. Love this fight. I love bantamweight, right? Bantamweight has just been really, really solid lately, right? Obviously, you have people like Pedro Munoz and Kyler Phillips and fucking Umar Nurmagomedov, but Merab is fun, O'Malley's fun, Cheeto's fun, Figgy is a title contender again. That's really fucking fun, and we have people like Mario Batista. We have people like Mario Batista, but we also have Jonathan Martinez and Marcus McGee, two up-and-coming prospects. Marcus McGee is like Sean O'Malley if he was black. Marcus McGee is a black Sean O'Malley, right? It's just, fucking has crazy power. He beat the shit out of his last opponent, and his last opponent was good. I don't remember what his fucking name was. Whatever the what's his name? Gaston Bolaños, right? Gaston Bolaños, standing TKO, but before that, he was like a mauling, and I know, not the greatest competition. He KO'd JP Bays, subbed Journey Newsome, so I'm picking Martinez by decision. I am picking Jonathan Martinez by decision. I think he plays the outside game very well, and I think Marcus McGee, I think his style just does not work with someone like Jonathan Martinez. And Jonathan Martinez has some of the best leg kicks in the UFC right now. He has 2 leg kick TKOs in a row. Leg kick TKO'd Adrian Yanez. Barely lost. I mean, he had a very competitive fight with Jose Aldo, and we saw what Mario Batista was doing to Jose Aldo as well, how competitive that fight was. And I think Martinez's leg kicks are going to compromise Marcus McGee's style. Everything is in those legs, right? Everything is in those hips, and I think he's like Adrian Yanez if he had cleaner, more power puncher boxing and a lot more dynamic kicks, and I just think Martinez's style is perfect for that. But we're going on to the main card opener. Mauricio Rufy from the Fighting Nerds versus James Lontop. I do have Rufy by decision. I'll skate by this one. This is a short notice fight. James Lontop is not good, but he is a vet, right? You look, split decision with Vyacheslav Borshev. I know Borshev has been exposed or whatever for not being that good, but at that point, I still think it's a very good loss for Lontop. Split decision loss. And before that, he got subbed by Chris Padilla, and then, don't need to look... don't look at his fights outside of the UFC. It doesn't really matter that much, right? But I think the Vyacheslav Borshev, I think he's a gritty guy. I think he's just going to get beat up for 3 rounds straight. I think Mauricio Rufy might 10-8 him in the first, might 10-8 him in the second. But Lontop is probably going to grit through. Maybe he's probably going to clinch Mauricio Rufy, just clinch him up against the fence, land some knees, land some dirty boxing and everything. And ultimately just not... He's going to lose, pretty dominantly, but just... He's too tough for his own good. So I do have Rufy by decision. But next up on the card, another women's fight. I literally don't watch women's fights, at all. Even the higher level ones. I'll watch Juliana Pena, because she's got a thick booty. I'll watch Alexa Grasso, because she's a very attractive face. And there's maybe 2 others that are, hot that I'll watch. If the fighters are really sexy, I'll watch them. And, these fighters are pretty, they're pretty attractive, but just not necessarily my thing. But Karine Silva versus Viviane Araújo. I have Silva by decision. I can't even explain that because I don't care at all. But next up on the card, right, another actually like good matchmaking. I'm glad we're seeing Bo Nickal versus Paul Craig. I'm glad we're actually seeing Bo Nickal get moved up with pretty good matchups, right? I don't want to see Bo Nickal get thrown to the wolves just yet. I think this is what, his 4th or 5th professional. It's his 6th professional. 7th. Okay. It's his 7th professional fight, but it is his 3rd fight, 4th fight. Okay. Whatever, dude. Okay. Actually, doesn't matter, right? His last fight was Cody Brundage, right? I want to see Bo Nickal get moved up, but I don't want him to get just sprung up there. I want him to fight decent competition that is a decent style to see where Bo Nickal is right now. I think Paul Craig is perfect for that, right? I am picking Bo Nickal by first round KO. I think he's going to flatline Paul Craig. Anybody that doesn't know, look up Paul Craig versus Alonzo Menifield. It's literally like the funniest KO ever. Paul Craig throws a double spinning wheel kick and trips on the second one, falls down. Alonzo Menifield just pounces and lands 2 hammer fists and knocks him out cold, right? Paul Craig, just anyone that has power really just knocks him out. You know, he's got a glass chin, and I think it's only worse down at, 185 rather than 205. I do think Paul Craig is going to just get overhand. I think he's going to get like knocked out with an overhand, right? I think Bo Nickal, we haven't seen a lot from him, but I do kind of believe in his striking because his opponents are so fixated on just stopping that takedown. Do not let Bo Nickal take you down. And we saw in one of his Contender Series fights, I know it's a Contender Series fight and the dude sucked. It was that black dude where he shot the single, grabbed the single, and still went in with the overhand. And I don't think he's stupid enough to get subbed by Paul Craig. He did compete against Gordon Ryan in a jiu-jitsu match and didn't get sub from him. And Gordon Ryan was trying to bait him into submissions. He was literally giving his back to fucking Bo Nickal, and Bo Nickal just suplexed him and got away. So I think Bo Nickal is a pretty aware guy on the ground, even including submissions and jiu-jitsu and all the stuff he really hasn't had a ton of experience with yet. And I think his striking he definitely has power. So I'm going Bo Nickal by first round flatline knockout. But next up, the co-main event, right? Charles Oliveira, o campeão tem nome, eu sou Charles Oliveira, versus Michael Chandler 2. Now, when this fight first got announced, I hated it. I was like, why are these two fighters rematching? And I still don't really like that this fight was made. I think they should have fought 2 other different people. I think Oliveira should have fought Max Holloway in a rematch at lightweight. I think that still is a move, especially for how I'm picking this fight. But I want to see Oliveira versus Max Holloway at lightweight. I think that's a much better fight. It was so stupid to me that Max Holloway moved down to just get knocked out. I predicted he was going to get knocked out, flatlined by Ilia Topuria. Got that right? A really good prediction rate. Obviously, I'm one of the best at predictions. I have some of the craziest predictions of all time. And my prediction for this fight is Michael Chandler by decision, by 5-round decision. I'm either going to look like a fucking retard. I'm either gonna look like the dumbest fucking person ever, or I'm literally gonna be a genius. And guess what? I'm banking on being a genius, right? Think about this fight, right? Okay. Let me explain myself, right? Think about this fight. Think about their first fight. What happened in the first round before the second round where, he ultimately got KO, right? It doesn't matter, but the first round, Michael Chandler 10-8'd Charles Oliveira. Literally, the scorecards were scored 10-8, right? Charles Oliveira had Michael Chandler's back. He was on his back on the ground and standing for over 2.5 minutes, or just around 2.5 minutes, and could not get any submissions on him. Michael Chandler has really good submission defense, and the only time he's ever been submitted in his MMA career was his most recent loss against Dustin Poirier. That's the only time he's been submitted ever, and he went for a stupid, a stupid low single fucking slam, also being hurt on the feet, which obviously you can say Charles Oliveira locks up a submission like that. But I don't know, man. I think Michael Chandler hasn't fought in 2 years. He wanted that McGregor matchup so bad, and he knows if he loses, he is not getting the McGregor matchup. He could win a boring fight. But, hey, this is all or nothing for Chandler, right? It's not like this Dustin Poirier or his Justin Gaethje fight where he's just trying to make as much money as possible. Right now, right, Michael Chandler is on technically a 1-fight loss streak, but his last win was 2.5 years ago over Tony Ferguson, and we've seen how Tony Ferguson is now, right? I think Chandler, in theory, on paper, just wins a dominant grappling decision, right? He can just hold Oliveira in that full guard. I don't think Oliveira has anything for Chandler in his full guard. He could just camp in half guard. He could just camp in side control, right? He could even take Charles Oliveira's back. I just think the power on the feet as well. I think he's just gonna. I'm either gonna look so stupid or I'm gonna look so smart. But I do have Chandler by decision in their rematch. And finally, we get to the main event. The real champion, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. I'm picking Jones. Okay, again, I'm going to look so stupid or I'm going to look so smart. I'm picking Jon Jones by decision as well. And, oh my God, because people are going to, oh, Stipe's old. So is Jon Jones. And Stipe, on paper, does have the style at heavyweight to beat Jon Jones. And, you know, oh, he's old. He hasn't fought in 4 years. Jon Jones has only fought once in 2 years. It was it was like a 90-second fight. It was 90 seconds where he just took down Cyril Gane and submitted him. That's basically all that happened. And he got nut-shotted at the start. That's all that happened. And before that, right now, he hasn't won a fight in 5 years. He has not won a single UFC fight in 5 years. And the reason this fight got postponed was because he had a nasty pec there. So Jones is old and injured and hasn't fought in a long time as well. So I think this fight's going to be very competitive, and I do have Jones by decision because I think Stipe, and Jones might get a later round finish, like a late round rear naked choke or something, but I think Stipe is just too gritty, and I think Jon Jones is too weak at this point. So I do have Jones by decision. I know I'm going to sound crazy saying that. But that's going to have to wrap it up for this late prediction video. I know I'm putting it out late, but I wanted to get my UFC victims tier list out because I feel like it was an OG EagleMMA vid, and I had a lot of fun making that, you know. So I wanted to just put that out. Predictions I don't really care as much about. They're not as fun, but, you know, whatever. I still want to do predictions and shit, right? Eager picks, you know, making it a thing. And also, something I'm going to start as well for all my members. I'm going to give early picks, right, for a weekly series that I'm starting on either Sunday or Monday. I'll see how it works out. But hey, even more content for members. Those who know. Yeah, I put out shit for my members. Yeah, that pissed me off. Yeah, I know you're watching right now. That pissed me off. Whatever. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Turn notifications on to all. Don't be a weirdo and put them on personalized. Thank you all for watching. EagleMMA out.
Hey, Young Lean? Are you Young Lean?
What?
Are you Young Lean?
No, I'm Barry Dillon.